Okay. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our inaugural first introductory uh, Evergreen Project webinar. And I know people are still kind of filtering in, but I didn't want to leave too much dead air at the start here. I am Katie Greenleaf Martin, and I am proud to be this year's Evergreen Project Chair. And one of my other hats is that I'm the Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Integrated Library System. And I am on site at one of my migrating libraries today, working with some folks who are joining our consortium later in 2026. And I am thrilled to bring you a wonderful presentation from another Evergreen library doing wonderful things in another part of our country, as we have libraries throughout the US, Canada, and all over the world. And I'm so excited to see many of you here today. What I do want to do before we get started is just talk a little bit and take any questions that people may have about the new membership model for the Evergreen Project. So this is brand new for us to have the ability for folks to join the project and being able to support the work of the project as well as gain a bunch of benefits. So I just want to go ahead and share my screen for a second. And so I'm just going to show you here the Evergreen project homepage. I think you're the software homepage, and I hope that you're familiar with this page. And what I want to show you here is a relatively new page on here, which is the membership page under About Us. And what this page is going to do is take you through the benefits as well as giving you the ability to sign up for your membership. I see lots of folks here who already are individual and or consortial members, and I want to thank everyone for their support so far. I've really just been amazed by the amount of support that we've had already for the work that we're doing. And we are thrilled to see those of you who are able to join us. And we look forward to many more of you joining. We will be doing reminders for membership. The one thing that's really required for membership is to be able to vote in the project board elections, which are going to be coming up this spring. So we're going to be doing reminders about the timeline of that. So the people who do want to vote can get their contributor membership or their individual or their institutional membership filed prior to that. But we have many more benefits that come with the various member types of memberships, whether individual and whether you're getting that individual membership as a contributor or as a paid member, as well as the various levels of consortial membership. And those are all listed out here on the webpage. I'm not going to go through them all. But one of the things that you do get access to as a member is these quarterly webinars that we're going to do. So I'm really grateful to Eli for volunteering to do this first kickoff webinar for us. And I'm grateful that of all of you who came to join us today. And so I will just pause for a moment to see if anyone has any questions about membership. And if not, then I'm going to throw it on over to Eli. All right. My gratitude again to Eli for doing this webinar today. As all those of you, many in the room who have worked on this membership project on the project board, contributed various things to the software. Thank you all so much for everything that you do and all the support that you're going to provide to us in the future as we continue this work. And I know that we're all excited to hear what Eli has to say about their booking tool. So take it away.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Very happy for you to tune in. I'm Eli Nyberger. I'm director of the Ann Arbor District Library System in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I'm also vice president of the Evergreen Project Board at the moment. I'm honored to be a part of the project and help move it forward. And I'm really excited about the membership model and the potential for sustainability of the project and staff of the project and moving forward and growing. ADL is one of the members of the Evergreen Project. We've joined as a sustaining member, and we're very happy to be supporting the project because Evergreen is very important to our operations. Just to sort of set the stage, Ann Arbor District Library, we serve a community of 175,000 people. Our We operate 6 locations, including a warehouse, and we have a staff of about 250, about half full-time and about half part-time. And we have a budget of about $23 million. So we are a well-funded, large, busy organization. But as we all know, there's a lot of great opportunity to do stuff with Evergreen within the existing infrastructure. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we got to our point with our tools booking, show you how to get where all the code that we've developed so far. The module that I'm talking about today has not yet been released because we kind of need to go over it and get it ready for a company to come over. However, if you're very interested in this, please contact me and we can definitely work with you to get you some of the stuff that we've done. So let me start with my slides here and we will go through this. And please go ahead and throw your questions in the chat as we go. Let me get my slide deck going. And back to the beginning of the slide deck is a good idea too. All right, here we go. All right. Well, that is not what I was trying to share, of course. One moment. There we go. All right. So tools booking Evergreen with Evergreen at AEDL, or how our API saves weddings. All right. Libraries of things. They're super cool. They're super great. They're amazing, right? Everybody loves them. Not me. I love the service. I hate the name. Books are things. Why are we calling this a library of things? Why are we trying to say this is differentiating? It's not differentiating at all. Like, are we going to say then that media isn't things, that we or libraries are only places to get media? We know that that's not true. So at AADL, we do not use the term library of things because books are things and everything that libraries are things. And I don't like that. So instead we call them tools because to distinguish them from media and tools really don't have any overlap, right? So instead of media, we have tools, things you can borrow, take home, and use to do something, and you don't consume the information on them and return them separately. So just to tell you a little bit about our history of tools collections, and we call some things tools that aren't actually tools, it doesn't quite fit, but we're not going to call them realia, right? Like we do in the business. So these are non-media collections at AADL. So first, our art prints collection. We have a circulating collection of about 600 art prints. We've been doing that since the 1970s. People can check them out for a month or 2 months, hang them on their walls. We see them all over town, doctors' offices, business waiting rooms. People, of course, we have a lot of students here in Ann Arbor. So students take them out and hang them. That's a very successful collection. Typically, about 95% of that collection is checked out at any given time. We have very little of it in stock. And we all know utilization like that, you just don't see in libraries. So that's been a very successful collection. We've been circulating energy meters with the city. Many libraries have done this. It's like a power strip that tells you your energy use. The city had a grant for sustainability. They asked us if we would circulate energy meters. We've been doing that since the 90s. So that's been around for a long time. At one point, we applied for an IEEE grant. That's the International Electrical Engineering Association, and they were offering grants for people to help teach about electrical engineering principles. We didn't get that grant. Our pitch was to circulate little synthesizers, but we decided to do it anyway. And that led to our music tools collection. But first, we started doing telescopes with the lowbrows. There's a club here in Ann Arbor called the University Lowbrow Astronomers. And in partnership with the lowbrows, they help us pick out a telescope. We patterned it. It's been doing that since about 15 years. We patterned that after some of the early telescope circulation programs at libraries. We circulate the Orion Star Blast, same as a lot of other libraries. That IEEE grant grew into music tools, circulating synthesizers, guitars, speakers, guitar pedals, all that kind of stuff. We'll show you that in a few minutes. Then we grew into art tools, circulating tablets, a Cintiq tablet, projectors that people can use for enlarging murals. Of course, people started using projectors for all kinds of stuff. Science tools such as meters, air quality meters, things like that, dinosaurs, anatomical models. Then our home tools, scopes like a bore scope so that you can look inside your vents and see what's in there. Also very popular with thermal imaging cameras. And then, of course, during the pandemic, we launched into games and puzzles, started adding that in as well. So that was our non-media collections up to when it got everything rolling and growing and just continuing to show you what we've got here. If you go to aedl.org/tools, you can see our entire tools collection. It's about 400 titles. And this view that you're seeing right here is sorted by popularity over a year. So these are our most popular tools. Number one is a radon detector, right? Because of course you take that home, let you know how much, if you have a radon problem that you need to investigate. Number two is a sewing machine. Number three is a projector. Number four, of all things, is a Blu-ray player. people, these still continue to be very popular. Number five is the pocket thermal imaging camera. Number six is the rotosphere, a disco ball. Seven is the telescope. Eight is a PA system. Nine is a set of lights that are good for events. Then there's the bigger thermal imaging camera. Then we now have this film scanner that you can use for scanning slides and stuff. And then indoor air quality meter. That's just the top 12. So one of our most popular items is giant chess. Okay, it comes in, you can see what size the pieces are up there. It comes in one big oversized bag. Of course, this is not the big season for outside games, so those are all on the shelf right now. But that's not just big chess. There's also mega chess. Mega chess comes in four giant hockey bags. It's 64 pounds total across four bags. You have to bring multiple people with you to check it out. And one of the amazing things about Mega Chess is that even how huge it is and what a pain in the butt it is to move around, the mat is almost 9 feet square. People start using it in all kinds of ways we weren't predicting. It says we have no copies of this here. That's just because they're away for the season because it's a seasonal item. But one thing that started happening when we started circulating Mega Chess is we started hearing from people who were getting married that they wanted to borrow the Mega Chess for their wedding. Of course, another problem in our society caused by Instagram. So now we have all kinds of brides and grooms saying, I need your Mega Chess on this particular date. And if I can't get it on this particular date, you've ruined my wedding and it's all your fault, right? So obviously that's not the way that library circulation typically works, having something for a particular date, at least not at public libraries. But fortunately, there's something in Evergreen to do that. But now we're in the wedding business, I guess, and that people aren't just checking out the chess, they're checking out the lights, they're checking out the PA, they're checking out the disco ball, and they want them all for a party that they're having. Maybe it's a wedding, maybe it's a bar mitzvah, maybe it's a club thing, maybe a lot of times the middle schools are having, their dance nights. They check out all this stuff. They want a set of things on a particular date, and we had zero infrastructure for that. We were doing it with like a Excel spreadsheet and trying to manage it manually through email. It was a nightmare. So what we've done is created a booking service to be able to reserve a set of specific tools for pickup on a specific date and a loan period of a specific date. So you can see here the booking period on these items is up to 7 days. It can be less. This is the first set of items that we started with: giant checkers, the projector, the telescope, Giant Connect 4, and Giant Chess. Now, many of these items, particularly the telescope, we circulated 3 different ways. You can book it, you can place a hold on it and get your return just like any other material. Or there's, we call it express shelf copies. Sometimes people call it the lucky day, where there's copies that don't fill holds. So for our most popular items, there's 3 different ways to check them out. You can book it, you can wait your turn in the hold queue, or you might get lucky with the lucky day collection. Then we quickly grew in response to demand the booking collection. So these are all the items that you can place a reservation for a specific date on. Of course, a PA, there's the Mega Chess. Here's this event party lighting kit we put together that comes with a couple different lights and a bunch of cables so that you can basically light up a small party. Fancy synthesizers. This is a Moog Grandmother, a stage piano. Here's another analog synthesizer from Korg, another analog synthesizer. I think that's the Mini-Log. Here's an analog synthesizer. There's also a sequencer, an amplifier. This is like the lighting controller, I think. This is a mixing board. This is a bass amplifier, thermal imaging camera. Sometimes you want to check that out for specific weekend if you want to aim for when it's cold so that you can be sure to see where your leaks are in your house. This is teaching chess. Sometimes you're going to have we specifically hear this from grandparents who are going to have their kid come and visit and they want to teach them how to play chess. Ping pong table, again, very popular for parties. Giant Jenga as well as merely Mega Jenga. There's 2 different sizes of giant Jenga for parties. This is a unique one, the TI-85 calculator. That is actually, you didn't see this on the first page, you can reserve that for an entire semester. So when a family is signing up for a class and they are not able to obtain the overpriced calculator themselves, they're able to reserve it and know they'll have it for the entire semester. A wheelchair ramp, this is something that we've had a lot of demand for, specifically when people have someone coming to visit them who is used as a mobility device and their home isn't accessible. You can check out this folding wheelchair ramp. Metal detector, very popular with older men. Bird watching binoculars, etc. These are all the things that you can book. So we needed to develop a system that allowed people to make requests for a specific date. These were our requirements that we came up with. Patrons needed to be able to book a pickup and set a return date for a set of tools. We didn't want them to have to go through and do each one individually, especially because the availability of the different things you want may can be different. And in many cases, people may not have a specific date for their party. We have heard from brides that they chose the date of their wedding based on the availability of the mega chess set. So you never know what people are going to be basing their decisions on. But as a result, patrons needed to be able to see the live availability for the selected set of things they want to book. If they want a mega chess and a PA system and a lighting kit and giant Jenga, they want to be able to see the availability for the set of things that they've chosen together. Of course, we want to adhere to existing web user interface conventions and expectations. We don't want to make this something that we have to have a document to train people on how to do. We want it to work like booking a flight or all the other things that people interact with date ranges in their lives on the web. We wanted it to be a single click or close to a single click confirmation for booking of the set. Once you had the things you wanted in your cart and you knew they were all available, you should just be able to click once and place one request. We wanted to be able to send notifications that you had confirmed your booking, your pickup date was coming, that your return date was coming. Remind them we have a special fee for overdue items. We don't charge overdues on anything except for overdue tool bookings because it's no longer just, oh, the next person has to wait longer. Now you're ruining somebody's wedding. So it's actually $35 a day per item for return items. Now, to be fair, we rarely actually charge that, but we threaten people with it all the time, and it's pretty effective to get the stuff to come back. We wanted people to be able to see or cancel their bookings on their My Account page. I'll come back to this because it's a little different. We also wanted it to be at the desk when the people actually come to pick up their reservation or return it, a mostly normal Evergreen transaction. We didn't want to introduce new tools that staff had to use at the desk. But at the same time, we did want to provide an easy way for staff to see what they had to do that day to get ready for orders to be picked up. So there's a staff overview with it. And we wanted to limit our data footprint outside of Evergreen. We wanted to keep all of this as much inside Evergreen as possible. Even though we've done a lot of stuff for our patrons that are not inside Evergreen, we have not forked Evergreen at all. We do not touch Evergreen. We keep it the way that it is from the main distro so that we make sure that when Evergreen updates, we don't have updating of Evergreen to do to make it work with our system. We just have to update our own external tooling for any changes that might have existed outside of Evergreen. So those were the requirements for a tool booking system. Now, how does this all work and connect behind the scenes? Of course, as I said, we have not forked Evergreen. We've got our Evergreen Postgres database cluster and the staff interface, which is the only interface that staff use to transact business. So all that stuff is completely normal, 100% stock Evergreen. Then we've got our public website. Now, we do not allow our patrons to touch the Evergreen catalog, and they do not interact with the Evergreen public information pages at all. Our public don't even know that Evergreen actually exists because we have that all built into our website, which runs on Drupal 10. We have two modules for our website that we've developed. ArborCat is the catalog integration and catalog module. Arbor Elastic is our implementation of Elasticsearch that allows people to search the catalogs and have faceting and things like that. In between those two is our own API, which is implemented in Laravel, which is a PHP framework that handles the communication between Evergreen and Drupal. Basically, we are often reading from Postgres directly, not going through OpenSurf or Evergreen. We're reading from the database directly, but we almost never touch it directly. We almost never write to it directly. All that stuff goes through OpenSurf calls that are existing. So our API exists mostly to read stuff from Postgres faster than from OpenSurf can necessarily deliver in our infrastructure. Then we have a couple of staff tools on the website, the overviews, and you saw earlier the book for patron button that allows staff to rapidly book an item, put together a cart for a patron. So that stuff is actually implemented in Drupal and uses the API to retrieve stuff from Evergreen and Postgres. And then off to the side, we have an app that we call HoldTix that handles all of the hold stickers that we print. And it also does a lot of patron notices. It reads queues and sends out patron notices. We use a lot of stock Evergreen notices, but we have some notices that are HoldTix app runs, and that is a Laravel thing as well that uses the API. So that's the landscape of the tools that we're using here. All right, so what's it look like for a patron? Now, one thing just to let you know is that we are currently, this system is down for upgrades because it is so highly seasonal and that all the demand really dries up when it snows. So as a result, we have taken the system, the tools booking system, offline for December and January to be able to do some upgrades to it, fix some long-standing bugs. We're not changing anything that you're really seeing today, but we're fixing some of the API issues that we've run into, edge cases we've encountered over the years, and kind of refactoring it to make it much easier and also ready for other people to use it. So when you go to find a booking, you would have looked at something in the catalog. I showed you what you'd look at the list of things, you'd click book this tool, and that would take you, well, gotta advance through this. That would take you to this, which is your date picker. And it shows on here if your selected tool is unavailable, it would be shaded in pink. If it is available, it's shaded in light blue, and the date range that you've selected is shaded in dark blue. Okay, then you can add that to a booking, so it's basically like a cart, or like when you're booking multiple airplane tickets at the same time. So that allows you to add multiple items to your booking, and this is what the tool booking cart looks like. These are all modal pop-ups that happen in Drupal. So you can add multiple items to it. Your dates for pickup and drop off in your cart will always be the same. So one reservation is a set of tools with the same pickup and drop off. And actually, that is how we avoid having any data about these that are stored outside. Anytime we're interacting with a set of reservations, we're looking for a pair of patron reservations with the matching pickup and drop off dates. So that's the way that we don't have any information about these reservations that exists outside of the Evergreen booking system. Okay, so you put together your tool booking cart. You pull together all the things you want to book. In this case, I want to book a projector and a PA system so I can amplify my projector and have a movie night at my house. And then you click OK, and it says your tool booking is completed. You've successfully placed a booking for two items. One projector is booked for these dates, and one PA system is booked for these dates, and your email is coming shortly. This email then arrives. This actually comes from Drupal. So it's when the function is completing that creates your booking, you get this notification and it sends you the confirmation for your booking. Okay, that's the patron's experience of placing the reservation. This is what our My Account page looks like. So it shows that you have multiple library cards because we allow people to add additional cards. It shows current checkouts. Yes, I did have an overdue item. I've since renewed it, I promise. And that was failure to launch a great selection of it's a comic anthology all about failures, and it's really interesting. There's a bunch of great stuff in there. And of course, Jim Ottaviani, who's an Ann Arbor local, his graphic novel about Hawking's life. So here's all the different things that you have. You can see right here, tool bookings. So we treat these as the same way. There's room bookings, which is entirely outside of Evergreen. That's just a Drupal function. And then we have tool bookings, which is where you would see your existing tool bookings. And here's the ones that you have on that page. You can see one that I had in the past that I canceled. And here's my current and another one that passed that I picked up. And here's my new one that you just saw me make, the projector and the PA system. And here's where I can cancel it. So it works just like all their other items, just like their holds. It's integrated with that and using all the same tools to put that together. What's it look like for the staff? So all this stuff at its heart creates reservations in Evergreen's existing stock bookings module. Okay. While there's some clunky little bits of the interface at the moment, it really works and it is very reliable and it is really exactly what we needed to handle this function. It's very much built around sort of like it's much more common for course reserves and things like that in the academic world. So in our case, we just used all the existing Evergreen booking functionality. So when you're looking at a patron page, you go to other, and that's you've got the entrance to all the booking pages. Here's what the manage reservation screen looks like. This is what mine looks like. I didn't fix my columns, as you can all see. We all know adjusting columns. But this is what it looks like when a patron has outstanding reservations. You can just click manage reservations. You can edit them here and delete them. Now, what we don't want staff doing is creating reservations through this interface. That's why we've offered them the interface on the public side, because then they can create the set of them all at once and they all get bundled together. So they use this for managing reservations if a patron wants to cancel it, picking up and returning reservations when they come in across the desk. Just real quick, this is what the stock Evergreen booking pickup and booking return screens look like. There weren't anything that were ready to go, but it's very straightforward, very easy to click on those and mark them to pick up when people are there to pick them up and mark them returned when they're there to return. All right. Then there's one other piece here, and I'm flying through this, so we'll have plenty of time for questions. The tool bookings overview. This is just, we have a lot of different overviews that we provide to staff through Drupal and our API calls. And what these do is allow people to have stuff all on the same page. So this pulls together all of the bookings information for a branch in one place and lets you see all of the bookings that are coming and what the status of them is. So it's just something we implemented in Drupal to make it one page. You always hit that one page. And if you're logged in as staff, you can see today's bookings and bookings that are coming up as well if you need to prepare for them. All right. So here's our tool booking volume. In 2022, we had 184 bookings, 2023, 631, 2024, 708, and 2025, we had 808 bookings. So it's something that keeps growing. And like I said, we've just shut it down to have some overhauls and then it will be back. So that was all my slides, just to give you a tour of this, because I know there'll probably be a lot of questions about this, but I want to let you know where you can get to this stuff. If you go to aadl.org, that's our website. You can see everything there. You can see a list of all our tools that are available if you're interested in that, aadl.org/tools. And again, that is our custom catalog that is ArborCat and Arbor Elastic. That's all built on top of Evergreen. Our tools bookings interface is aadl.org/book a tool, where you'll see a message that booking a tool is offline for December and January. Here's our code repo, github.com/AADL. You can see our GitHub repos there for ArborCat and Arbor Elastic. Like I said, the tools booking stuff isn't up there, but please contact me if you want to get your hands on this. But you can right now download all of our code. Like I said, it depends on Drupal 10 and requires a lot of different pieces to be put in place, but it's all up there for everyone to share. You can contact me, eli@aadl.org, or you can reach me on Blue Sky at eli.aadl.org. I'm also on Instagram, also on Mastodon, or you can hit me up on LinkedIn. So, all that said, in a whirlwind tour, please let me know if you'd like to know more about any of this, or you have questions about how it works or what we've learned or any of that kind of stuff. Welcome to unmute yourself if that works, or put it in the chat, whatever you'd like to do. What can I answer for you?
Well, while people were gathering their thoughts for questions, Eli, I just want to say thank you. This is incredible to see what you've done with Evergreen and expanded it, and just a wonderful patron service that you're able to offer. I may or may not have been Googling, houses for sale in Ann Arbor while you were talking.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's a service that evolved entirely in response to patron demand, right? We never thought when we added Mega Chess that it was going to lead to all of this, but it has just been something that has just grown and grown and grown, and bring in a lot of new patrons too, right? There may be people who have not a single lick of need for anything in your media collections, but they're really interested in this stuff if they can get it on their terms. That's always the tricky part. Anybody want to see any of the other stuff about our catalog, or I'm happy to walk you around to browser stuff if that would be interesting. You want to see just more of our tools? Can bring that up. Let me get to a
Yeah, for sure.
let me get to a page here. So I'm just going to go to aadl.org/tools. It'll give us a chance to see more of this stuff. And let me bring that browser window up. Okay, so here's aadl.org. This is the most recent additions. We just added this Logue piano. It's like a little kid's piano that's really cool. It's really fun to play with. Here's our overhead camera. This is something we've had surprising demand for this. People wanting, usually when they're doing like some sort of a demo in a class or a smaller organization looking to use a camera. It's great for sewing or cooking demonstrations. An Omnicord, the super cool old school electronic event. We actually have a circuit bent one of those in the collection as well. We recently added the giant Jenga. There's Mega Jenga. Here's something you can see. These ones that say wash not tool. These are actually things that we don't circulate. These are records for, we have a conservation district here. So, Ann Arbor is a district library. We have a similar sort of organization in our county called the Conservation District, and they offer a tool bank And it's like we don't actually do any actual tools in our tool collection, but the Washington Tool Bank does. And they asked if they could put their things in our catalog because they know that that's where people are looking for them. So these are not actually items that exist in our collection. We've just added records for them to our catalog so that people who are looking for gardening tools and things like that can find them in our catalog. And then when you click on it, it tells you how to get it from the Washtenaw Tool Bank collection. That's the name of our county, Washtenaw County. So you can see there's a bunch of stuff in here we recently did. Here's a bass preamp, time delay, guitar pedal, formaldehyde sensor, laser rangefinder, Geiger counter. I don't want to know why people want that, but people keep asking about it. Hopefully, it's related to antiquing and not anything different than that. Going to the next page a little bit. Here's a loom. This one's been fun. Blue Track flexible car track. It's like a roll of track for Hot Wheels. So these are really popular. You can see we got a bunch of requests outstanding on those. Slide and film viewer. This is cool. It's a kid sequencer, the Blipbox MyTrack. That's a really fun electronic device. And one of the great things about all the electronic music makers for kids is like them coming home and your kids playing with it. And then, sorry, kiddo, it's got to go back to the library. So you don't have to have these things in your home permanently. Here's a Mahjong set, American Mahjong set, magnifying LED. There's that tournament chest, a Stratocaster, tapestry loom, Les Paul Special Edition, bunch of big shot die cutters, jumbo bricks, giant set of Legos, bat scanners. These are really fun. It's like a device you listen to and it amplifies the frequencies that bats chirp at and makes them human audible so you can hear during that time of year if the bats are around. Let's see, what else? A
I
serger,
actually have. I'm curious if you
please.
guys have done any like programming around. So like I'm seeing a lot of like the especially a lot of the musical instruments and the synthesizers and stuff like that. Do you ever like do programming like to pitch these?
Yeah, they very much sell themselves. It is really a build it and they will come collection because once you get people looking at it, they're looking at everything, what's new. But a lot of this has led to us having connections with programming. Like we've got our sewing lab, right? And sewing lab, people come to the sewing lab, they learn a skill, and they say, and you can check out a sewing machine to take it home and do this. And it's the same one you just used. We have an event called SynthFest, where a lot of the value of the event is just us getting out our collection and having like a petting zoo of all the stuff that people can try. So it's definitely something where there's a ample opportunity for programming. We've had programming around like the stereo microscopes. We've collected them all together and like done like look at boogers and all that kind of stuff that kids love. There's also some interesting accessibility things. We got this text to speech wand. And one thing that kind of grew out of our library for the blind. We're probably not going to stumble across these in the collection. Oh, I didn't mean to go to last. Here's some of the oldest things. But the glasses that they say correct color blindness. Oh, here we are in chroma. They don't really collect color blindness. For some people in very certain circumstances, it helps them see contrast that they wouldn't otherwise. But they're like $400, and it's a lot better to get to try them on and see that they don't work than to buy a pair and to discover that they don't work. So this is about adjusting for indoor color. So those are something that people try. But you see, we got one of them and it's on shelf. So not a super hot prospect. A Braille typewriter. That's something again came out of our library for the blind. So all kinds of stuff in there.
Now,
We've basically
are these all mark records or
yes, it's in essence, yes. The ones that our catalog is actually the public catalog. We have bibliographic information in CouchDB, but it is harvested out of MARC records from the Evergreen database. Anything that has a barcode on it has a MARC record and is in the Evergreen database. These things that we do not actually have, that have no holdings, these are not actually MARC records. These are Couch records that are just in our CouchDB. So they are indexed by our catalog and come up in the search. But Evergreen doesn't know that these things exist at all. Good question. Okay, so that's a rough tour of that. There's the Wacom tablet we talked about. Oh, Bagimals. Here's a set of dinosaurs. This one's people love to come and check these out. Very popular with the kids, etc.
well, this is very, very cool. Does anybody have any other questions or comments for Eli? Other than we all want to, come visit your library now.
Please do. Like I said, if you want any more information about any of this code, I came up through IT, but I'm no longer like involved in that. As I was making these slides, I had to ask my IT guy, is this right? Is this how it works now? So please don't hesitate to contact me and I'll put you in touch with our IT team. And several of us will be attending the conference this year as well in Seattle. So we look forward to hoping to get to meet some of you and talk about what we've done as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This was really, really impressive. And thank you so much for sharing it with the community.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for your interest.
Going to go ahead and stop the recording now.